In this video, we will discuss two simple methods on how to solve a circuit using mesh analysis method. One is inspection method and the second one using Kirchhoff's voltage law. I am Joshua Daniel, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore. Before going into solving a circuit using mesh analysis method, let us see what is Kirchhoff's laws, that is Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law, and how to convert or how to transform a voltage source to a current source, and how to transform a current source to a voltage source, which is very essential when a problem is given with different sources and we need to solve it using mesh analysis method. In Kirchhoff's current law, shortly called as KCL, the sum of currents flowing towards a junction is equal to the sum of currents flowing away from it. According to Kirchhoff's law, as we see in this diagram, we can see that the current I1, I4, I5 and I6 are the incoming currents, and I2 and I3 are the outgoing currents. They say that the currents flowing towards a junction is equal to the currents flowing away from the junction. This is Kirchhoff's current law. When we see Kirchhoff's voltage law, shortly called as KVL, as you can see, a closed circuit is formed using a voltage source, which is called as potential or potential rise, and there are three elements R1, R2 and R3 connected to form a closed circuit. So we can say that the sum of potential drops is equal to the sum of potential rises. You can see the sum of potential drops is written as you know, Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So we can write the potential drops across R1, R2 and R3 as IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3, since the current I is same for all the elements. So the potential rise from D to A is V. We can say that Kirchhoff's voltage law, IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3 is equal to V. This is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Next, let us see what is source transformation. If a voltage source is given, how to convert it into transform it to a current source. So see, you know Ohm's law. So this is the voltage source in series with the resistance Rs. How to find out the current source? I is nothing but equal to V divided by Rs. We know the value of V, we know the value of Rs. So we can find out the current source or I value. And the value of Rs is directly connected here as a parallel resistance. This is how we are converting a voltage source to a current source. Next, how to convert a current source to a voltage source. We know the value of I, we know the value of Rs. We know Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So V is equal to I into Rs. So we get the voltage source here, and we are directly connecting a series resistance. The value of the resistance, we know it here. It is connected here as a series resistance Rs. I want to tell you one more thing. If the positive plate is in the bottom side and the negative plate is in the upper side, we have to denote the current source with an arrow marking it as downwards. Similarly, if in a current source, if the arrow is marked as downwards, when you are drawing the voltage source, you need to keep the negative plate on the upper side and the positive plate on the lower side. This is how we are doing source transformation. These are some of the examples how we are converting a voltage source to a current source and current source to a voltage source. So here 120 volt, here it is 6 ohms. So we know I is equal to V by R. So 120 divided by 6, nothing but 20 ampere. And the value of the resistor is directly connected as a parallel resistor. So voltage source is converted to a current source. Here current source is converted to a voltage source. So how do we denote the polarities of the EMFs? If we denote it with respect to the current flow. If the current flow is from the negative plate to the positive plate, we mark it as plus V. If it is from positive plate to the negative plate, we mark it as minus V. And what about the voltage drops in the resistors? That also depends on the current flow, right? If it is flowing in this direction, so we mark it as plus and minus. We can denote it as minus V since the drop. And if it is in the opposite direction, we mark it as plus V. So what are the rules when we do it with the inspection method? So the first rule is we need to convert the current source into equivalent voltage sources since we are finding out the current, right? So all the resistance through which the loop current, so there will be different loops. I'll tell you in the next coming slides. And we need to take the total resistance in that particular loop and mark it as R11. And if there are any common resistors between the loops, that is marked with R12. One is the first loop and two is the second loop, and we denote it with a negative sign. And then we will mark the current directions according to our wish, clockwise or anti-clockwise, and we give it a name as I1, I2 or I3, right? So this is how we form the matrix using Ohm's law. So we know V is equal to I into R. So as already discussed, R11 is the total resistance in that particular loop. R12 is the common resistor between the first loop and the second loop, and R21 common resistor, R22 the total resistance in the second loop. Similarly, you can write it for a 3 mesh circuit also, right? So here it is written R1 plus R2, here it is minus R2, which is a common resistor, minus R2, and R2 plus R3, which is the total resistance in the second loop. So how do we write V1 and V2? So see the current direction, it is from negative plate to the positive plate, so it is V1. In the next, it is from positive plate to the negative plate, so we write it as minus V2. Next, let us go to the problem. When you see this problem, right, you can see three sections or three loops can be formed. This is the first loop, this will be the second loop, this will be the third loop. So we mark it with I1, I2, I3, and we mark it with clockwise direction. Right? Next, we have to use inspection method and write or form the matrix equation. So you can see this will be R11, this will be R12, this will be R13. Right? So R11 is the total resistance in that particular loop, 1 ohm, this is 1 ohm, and this is 1 ohm. So 1 plus 1 plus 1. Then common resistor between R1 and 2. This is first loop and second loop. This is a 1 ohm resistor. We are writing it with minus 1. Right? Similarly, first loop and the third loop. Here you have 1 ohm resistor denoted by minus 1. Similarly, we have the next R21 common resistor here, R22, the total resistance in loop 2. This is the total resistance in loop 2, 1 plus 1 plus 1. Then between 2 and 3 minus 1 ohm resistor, right? So then R31, R32, R33 total resistance in the third loop, right? Then we write I1, I2, I3, then the voltage sources. So you can see according to the direction of current, this is from negative plate to the positive plate, so we can write it as plus 10, here plus 5 volt, and in the third loop plus 5 volt, right? Next, we'll see how to solve it using Cramer's rule. We need to find out the currents I1, I2, I3, and we need to find the determinants. So we are writing the determinant as delta, as where we have the values 3, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, 3, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, 3. So how to solve this? So the first column will be plus, the second column will be negative, the third column will be plus. So 3 into 3 minus of minus 1 into minus 1, that will be 3 into 3 9 minus of minus 1 into minus 1 1, right? Next, minus 1 into already minus 1 minus, so it will be plus 1. Then minus 1 into 3 minus of minus 1 into minus 1, minus 3 minus 1, right? The last one is minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1 minus of minus 1 into 3, which is nothing but equal to 16. Similarly, we need to find delta I1. How do we find delta I1? We replace the first column with the voltages 10, 5 and 5. And we find the similar method as we found out for delta. We are solving it and getting the answer as 120. So what is I1? Delta I1 divided by delta, which is nothing but 120 divided by 16 is equal to 7.5 ampere. We do the same methods for delta I2 and find out the value for I2, and we do it for delta I3. We finding the determinant, finding the value, and I3 is nothing but delta I3 divided by delta, which is 100 by 16, 6.25 ampere. In BC, the only current is I3, so we write it as I3, which is 6.25 ampere. And in CD, we have I1 current as well as I3 current. So I1 minus I3. These both currents are in opposite direction, so we minus it, right? So 7.5 minus 6.25, which is nothing but 1.25 ampere. So this is how we found out the various branch currents for the given circuit. Next, let us see how we solve it with Kirchhoff's voltage law. So when we see this circuit, you can see that there are three loops or three meshes, right? So we denote it with I1, I2 and I3 three currents in the clockwise direction, and then we write the Kirchhoff's voltage law, right? So let's write the Kirchhoff's voltage law for this first loop. We see that the current direction is from the negative plate to the positive plate, so we have a plus 7 volt, and in this 1 ohm resistor, I1 flows from top to bottom, I2 flows from bottom to top. So we can write minus I1, and the current in the 6 volt source is from positive plate to the negative plate, so it is minus 6. And then in the 2 ohm resistor, I1 and I3 flows in opposite direction. So I1 is the major current, so 2 into I1 minus I3, that is Ohm's law, that is I into R, right? Plus this I2 for this resistor, that is plus I2 is equal to 0, and we solve it and we find an equation here and we mark it as 1. Next, let us write the equation for loop 2 and loop 3. In loop 2, right, the current flowing in this 1 ohm resistor is I2 is flowing in this direction, I1 is flowing in the other direction. So what we need to do is, this is the major current, so I2, so minus 1 into I2 minus I1. Why do we mark a minus there? Since we have already seen in the previous slides how to mark the polarities, right? So we need a negative sign when there is a drop. So then the current flows through the 3 ohm resistor. Here I3 is in this direction, I2 is in the opposite direction. So minus 3 into I2 minus I3. So the current in 2 ohm resistor is I2 alone. So we write it as minus 2 into I2, and we solve this equation and we mark it as 2. Then applying the KVL or the Kirchhoff's voltage law for loop 3. So see, the direction of current is from negative plate to the positive plate. So we write it as plus 6. Then in 3 ohm resistor, I3 is the major current. So I3 minus I2 into 3. Then in 1 ohm resistor, I3 alone, so minus I3. Then in 2 ohm resistor, I3 and I1 flows, so I3 minus I1 into 2, right? So we solve all this and we find it as the third equation, right? So having found out all the three equations, we solve it using Cramer's rule as we solved it for the previous problem, right? We need to find out the determinants. So we are writing it in Ohm's law, same, V is equal to I into R. So these are the voltages of 1, 0 and 6. You can see the circuit. We are writing the determinants and finding out the determinants as we discussed for the previous problem. And we find it as delta is 39. Delta 1, we are replacing the first column with the voltages and we find it as 117. And delta 2 as 78 and delta 3 as 117. And using all those values, we are finding I1, I2 and I3 as 3 ampere, 2 ampere and 3 ampere. So hope you have understood both the methods, inspection method and how we are using Kirchhoff's voltage law to find the various currents for the given circuit. Thank you for watching.